Hello and welcome. My name is Terry and I am so excited to participate in the Trinity Stamps YouTube Pop for February 2024. For this video, I will be showing a card that I created using a few of the new release items. I am going to start off by using At the Cross die set along with Irish Blessing Blooms. I went ahead and pulled out a white cardstock that I trimmed to 4¼ by 5½ inches. And I pulled out the cross die first and I placed it on the center of my cardstock. And I'm using a pencil here to trace around the edges of the cross. This is going to help me align my stamp later. Now going in with my stamp positioning tool, I am using the Irish Blessing Blooms and I'm aligning one of the flower blooms along the line that I just created. I then went in with my black ink pad and inked up the stamp on the left side of my platform. Then I put pressure onto the platform and placed that onto my white cardstock. I had to do this a few times just to make sure I got a good impression. And once I thought that the coverage was good, I went ahead and rotated my cardstock around and did the same thing to the other side. Now going in with an eraser, I'm just erasing all of the pencil marks that I created earlier. And the best part is coloring. So today I am going to use color pencils and I'm going to go ahead and speed up the process here and play some music. So if you enjoy the coloring process, I hope you sit back and enjoy. But if you don't, I will go ahead and leave a time below and you can go ahead and forward it to that time. Okay, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I am back. So now I am going to go ahead and die cut the cross. And I'm using a wood grain sheet of paper here. This one is from Memory Box, and I went ahead and die cut that using my die cutting machine. Now I wanted to add some color onto the cross, so I'm going in with some Caterpillar inks, and I'm using my blending buddy to blend in the edges of the cross. So the first shade of brown wasn't dark enough, so I went ahead and selected a second brown shade and went again over the edges of the cross. And now for the remaining pieces of the die set. This is going to be the fabric that drapes over the cross. And I'm using a piece of vellum. This one is the Pearl Essence vellum that I'm using. So there's 5 pieces to the fabric. So here I'm going in and layering the pieces together. I am using liquid adhesive, but what I like to do is when I'm adding the liquid adhesive on, I like to use my finger and dab off the excess just so it doesn't show through. I love how the vellum is a little transparent and has a little shine that goes perfectly with the cross. So now I'm just adhering some liquid adhesive towards the corner of the fabric, and I'm adhering that to the cross. Okay, so now going back to the panel that we created earlier, I am using a frame die here to create a little bit of interest around the edges of the cardstock. I ran that through my die cutting machine off screen. And now for the sentiment, I selected the Rejoice sentiment from the He Is Risen stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that down on the bottom right hand corner of my card panel. I am planning on heat embossing this, so I'm prepping my cardstock with an anti-static powder tool, and I'm stamping the stamped sentiment with a clear embossing ink, and I like using Versamark ink. I then added gold embossing powder to the inked area and used my heat tool to melt the embossing powder until it was nice and smooth. To adhere the cross to the card panel, I am using foam squares, and I like using foam squares here because it creates a little bit of dimension on your card panel. And I like going in with a white gel pen to add highlights and details throughout my card panel. So before I adhere it to a card base, I like to create a mat against my card panel. So I selected a shade of cardstock that was similar to the flowers on my card panel, and I trimmed that slightly larger than my card panel. And then I went in with liquid adhesive and I adhered that together. And then I adhered that to a top folding card base in white. To finish off the card design, I am going in with transparent sparkle enamel dots, and I'm placing it throughout my card panel. And that pretty much completes my card. I love the shine from the vellum and the embossed Rejoice sentiment. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and please don't forget to follow along with the hop. There is a $25 gift card giveaway. Just make sure to comment and subscribe. Okay, until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.